Debbie Hoffbauer is going to come now, and she's going to talk a little bit about our work order system project and what's been going on with that.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Woo. I have to use this microphone correctly. It's great to see you guys all here. What I really want to talk to you today about is work order system integration. Now, I'm going to get a little bit of help, and people aren't going to believe who I'm going to get help from, but it's going to be some great help. So I want to start out first by asking, raise of hands, who has a work order system within your company? Lots of you. Those of you who don't, pay attention because we can help you too. This is pretty great things that are going on. And I kind of want to reference this first by telling you that Roger Ortega, I'm sure a lot of you know Roger Ortega, as well as Washington Gas and quite a few others came to us and said, you know what, we have a work order system. Can we integrate this into your Newton ticket entry? So I had to start thinking. We started looking at it. And is anybody from SNN here? Nobody from SNN Communications? Well, too bad, because I really wanted to recognize them. They really helped us beta test this. So what I want to do first is let Rick Povarsky stand up and talk about kind of what it's all about. What does work order integration mean? How it can help people. And he's going to give you an overview of that. Then I'm going to get into the details of how it really works within the application. Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Debbie. I wanted to go kind of and talk about more of a big picture of what we're looking at, 4 or 5 years down the line with this project. For those of you who don't know, my background is with the utility. I used to work for a gas company for almost 20 years. And I think back about my days as a project engineer when I'd go out, we'd do cost estimates, we'd look at if somebody wanted to run a new service, I'd go out into the field and I'd gather all this data, and then I'd give it back to the marketing group who, if they approved it, gave it to the new construction group. At that point, it went over to our contractors who would take this information and then use it, schedule the work, and then call into Miss Utility for a ticket. And to be thinking, how can we streamline that process? We've got somebody in the field originally, that project engineer, capturing all kind of information. How can we get that back to the excavator so when they call us, we capture it and we go back to the locator with the same information that the original person, that project engineer, would have had at the beginning? And what better way to give information to a locator than have it come directly from that project engineer who's in the field versus more of an administrative type of look at it. Here's the address, here's what we're looking at. But get it from the person who's out in the field. So try to capture as much of that data as we can in the beginning. And what Debbie's going to talk about today is going to be that back end of it. It's going to be more just the work order integration between a construction company's work order system to be able to automatically populate our fields to create a ticket and schedule a ticket. But as she goes through this, especially for those of you in utilities, be thinking about about just more of that big picture. How can we integrate it all? So again, over some time, but to be we need your help and participation. So as we move forward with this project, and this was a PHMSA grant, a federal grant that we received to help fund this initially. So again, as she's talking about it, she's going to be talking about just kind of the back end of it. But think big picture and try to look at as you go back in and you're working with your own work order systems. You're looking at some of those things within your companies, how you're creating them. Be thinking about how you can always do that integration. So because ideally we get that information from that guy who's out in the field initially, and get that same information to the locator so he knows exactly what work is being done and what to locate. To streamline that, make it as effective as we can.
Thank you, Rick. So this gets pretty exciting because now I'm going to go into the IT part. I won't get too technical and bore you, but this is pretty cool how this works, and I wanted you all to take a look at this. Basically, why integrate this? I think Rick kind of covered this. Why are we integrating this? Because imagine this. Imagine the need to not have to enter your ticket into web ticket entry or to call the VA 811 center. You've got the data from the original person, and it's fed directly into our system. All the required fields to create a ticket. It's kind of like, remember the old exercises people used to do where you'd have a group of people, somebody tell the first person something, by the time it got around the circle, it's a whole different story. Well, we can prevent that from happening here because you're going to get the original data, you're going to integrate it, it's going to be automated, and you're going to get a Miss Utility ticket out of it. You know you've got the right information at that point. How do we do this? And this is where it gets technical, and I won't get into too much detail. We're using something called JSON Ticket Receiver. It's not Jason from the scary movies, so don't be alarmed here. But what JSON stands for, just in case anybody asks you, it's a JavaScript object notation data format. It's a real lightweight data format. Why we chose this, it's really easy for a human to read it, to write it, and it's really easy for a system to parse it and generate it. So we chose this. We use this JSON ticket, we refer to it as the JTR application in electronic whitelining. So we thought, wow, how can we use the same application integrated into work order integration? So now we're going to be able to do that. What happens? Your company's work order system, usually in your database, you have design plans, you have costs, materials, manpower, location of the work. And if you can add one more field, and most of you probably already have this field, a schedule. When's the work going to be done? That's already in most of your work order systems now. If you can take that information, what do you do after that? You manually either go into web ticket entry or you call us and say, okay, I need to create a ticket. Let's make that much simpler. What we can do utilizing JTR is your information can go to the JTR application, and before you begin an excavation, you can say, okay, I want to create an excavation ticket utilizing my company's work order information, all the required fields based on your schedule that you already have. JTR takes the data that you send us, we validate the information. Is all the required fields there for a ticket? So it pre-checks everything to make sure everything's there that we need to create a ticket. If it's not valid, if you didn't send all the required fields, JTR goes back in and informs your work order system, this is not valid information, this is what's missing. Your work order system, somebody goes in, corrects the data, as they would anyway when they're trying to call the ticket in, and they send the information back through JTR. JTR takes that information and they revalidate it. Once the data is successful, when JTR revalidates that information, Newton says, that's successful, I can create a ticket with that. A ticket says, Newton says, it's okay, it's good to go. It sends that information back through JTR to your work order system, and it says, you've already got a ticket scheduled based on your schedule information. All you have to do is release it. You don't have to call us, you don't have to get onto web ticket entry. It's already done for you. So once that's done, once you receive that you've acknowledged that you've sent all the data, the information, then your work order system, when it comes time, 3 days prior to when your excavation is going to begin, starting at 7 a.m. the next business day, your work order system is going to send that information back through JTR, ticket's going to be created, and it's going to send the ticket information back to you. And it's that simple. It looks kind of complicated with all the designs, but it's not, and it's a really outstanding thing. It eliminates the need for information to be passed from one person to the next. It really ensures accuracy. It helps better damage prevention by ensuring that you're sending the data that was received from the person out in the field the first time. So, like I said, S&M has been beta testing this with us for a couple of months, and this is kind of an exciting day because they went live with it today. They love the system. They're going in full production today. So what I really want to do before I leave here is, who's interested in integrating this? It's a piece of cake. Its integration is so easy. We would love to work with you. We have a whole staff of PAT department, IT, operations, that would be willing to talk to you, work with you, help set up the communication between our application and your work order system. Anybody interested? I know you are. You just have to think about it. I saw a hand. Thank you, sir. I will see you next. This is a great thing. So really, I know Washington Gas is here. I believe there's members from Washington Gas. I know you guys were interested in it. We'd love to talk to you. Dominion Virginia Power, great opportunity for you. Anybody else that's interested, please see any member of VA 811 on the break. Give us a call at the help desk. Any way you want to get in touch with us, we'd love to work with you to integrate this. And also I wanted to let you know that in March, in our March meeting, S&M is going to come up and they're going to talk a little bit about what this did for their, for their company. Any questions about this? Wow. Well, great. On behalf of the IT department from VA 811, we want to wish you guys a great holiday, and thank you.